It's obviously Goldwood City. Soweto City Bus Tour bus. Peter done it. These videos were a bit iffy. Let's see if I can get some better ones. It's taken me 35 years to do this bus tour. I don't know how long it's been going. Definitely since Peter was here. One very filthy forest there.
Ήταν γκαζό το νερό, δεν το ήξερα και το άνοιξα και έγινε χαμός εδώ.
But I want to learn Zulu. I want to learn.
You want to learn Zulu? Don't worry, I'll teach you.
Okay, so
Teach you Zulu. So you start with Sawubona.
Sawubona.
Hello.
Hello, Sawubona. Okay, Sawubona Magda.
Σαμπόνα τεβα.
So you say Yebo.
Yabo.
When you
Yebo.
respond, Sawubona.
Sawubona.
Yebo.
A Bicky as well, yeah.
I'm trying. I can speak Zulu fluent. English, I'm
I
trying.
want to ask you to speak not quickly.
Slowly.
No, not very slowly, but not quickly. Okay, because our English are not very
Media. Speak media.
medium.
Not
Okay.
slow, not quickly.
Okay.
I will try.
Middle range.
Yeah, I will try. So welcome, good people. My name is Ntaganipo. You can call me Ntaganipo, or you can say Nipo. N-I-P-H-O. That's my name. I'll be your guide. Going with this guy. His name is Chabo.
Hello.
Hello, Chabo.
The former president.
Okay. Hello, President.
But he's not the former president. He's the future. I will call you Sipo.
Sipo.
That's your new name.
Okay, Sipo
Sipo.
means
Well, you have to wait. I'll tell you later. But don't forget that name.
Sipo. Okay, yeah.
And
What
yours,
is-
sir?
Yes.
Your name? What's your
Dylan
name?
is my
Say-
name.
Say?
Dylan.
Dylan. What does it mean?
Doesn't mean anything, I don't.
So you don't have a meaning. Let me change it. I will call you Mangoba.
Manuba.
Mangoba.
Sipo.
Unknown.
Sipo
Please don't
Manuba.
forget that name. Otherwise you
Mangoba.
stay in Soweto. The lady. And your name?
Heather.
Say?
Heather.
Heather. What does it mean?
It's a flower.
Flower. Nice name. So you can keep your name.
Okay.
Keep your name. Magdalena. Magdalena. Nice name.
Yes.
But I will call you Palisa.
Παλίσα.
Palisa.
Lisa and Sipo.
So Sipo.
Palisa.
Palisa.
And
Mangoba.
Manuba.
I'll say Nelson.
Say?
Nelson.
Nelson.
Yeah, you're not going to change that one.
Yeah, I know Nelson, the legend.
Yeah,
So
Nelson.
you are Nelson Mandela.
It makes it easy for you. It makes
No,
it
that's
easy for
very
you.
easy. But do you know the original name of this Mandela?
It's all four. Okay.
Palicha.
Without
Παλίσα.
Palisa, Palicha.
Palisa.
You're from Greece, you're from Ethiopia. Going to Soweto? Anything you know about Soweto?
not many.
We read
Nelson.
Trevor Noah's book.
Born in crime.
Yes.
So you know what you got from the book.
Yes.
Well, it Nelson and Desmond Tutu.
Well, most of it it's true. We talk about Soweto, so you know about this. But our first one, the Super City Stadium. The Super City Stadium, it was used during the 2012 the final, it was played at that stadium. Today, which is one of the biggest stadiums in South Africa. Biggest stadium. Ladies first, so it will be ladies first.
I'm dumb. So,
You can do a punch jumping?
not for the
If
for the
they-
hospital.
For the hospital, that's a good one. But if they go for bungee jumping, if something happens, you are guilty.
Okay. I will be psychologist.
That's a good one. So from the Orlando Towers, we moved to Orlando Township to visit the house of Nelson Mandela. We'll also visit the house of Desmond Tutu. But Desmond Tutu's house, it's still a family house. They are still living there. Desmond Tutu, he lives in Cape Town, but his family, they still use the house. the Hector Peterson Memorial. At the Hector Peterson Memorial, you'll be learning more about the Australian uprising, which happened in 1976. When the students in South Africa, they were protesting against the South Africans. They didn't want to return in Africa. Our last stop, which will be Cape Town. Cape Town, it's the oldest township in Soweto. But it's still the same like it was then. It's still very bad. Maybe some of you know South Africa, Mozambique, Botswana, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Swaziland, you can find them. But there will be no Soweto without Johannesburg. The discovery of gold, 1886. A lot of people came to Johannesburg to work on the mining industry. But they had no place to stay. So in 1904, that's when they formed Soweto by moving people from Johannesburg to Limpopo. This will be our first stop, the Soccer City. You can say Soccer City or you can say FNP, it's up to you. The reason I'm calling it Soccer City, during the World Cup, it was called Soccer City. But after the World Champion, they've changed the name of the stadium to FNP. Well, FNP, it's our bank, First National Bank. So as the sponsor, they get the name of the stadium. So it's up to you, Soccer City or FNP. 94,000 seats. We are still using the stadium. Most of the time we use it for soccer games. It's a home ground of Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. They play all their home games over there. But it's not always full. For us it's full when it's a game between Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates, which is the biggest game in South Africa. Would you like to get a picture? Anyone want to get a picture? Also, no picture for you?
I took one.
No, for me, it's
Rodriguez, did he perform there?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But the stadium, it's been there since 1989. When Nelson Mandela was released in prison in 1990, he came to deliver the speech on that stadium. It's just that the shape before, it wasn't like that. They had to change the shape for the World Cup. Right now, the stadium looks like a calabash. If you don't know a calabash is a clay pot. It's a container which you use when you drink an African beer. That beer, we call it coconut. And the traditional beer.
This is the shape of the, München in Germany.
Germany.
Okay.
They say it looks like
it's the same.
Munich.
Same shape.
Same
And
shape.
in München has three colors. One was the red, but it is the same shape. Exactly.
So this one for us, it's like a calabash, a clay pot.
Yes.
As you can see, it's a calabash. Then on top, you see the form of the beer. The reason they made the stadium looks like a calabash for us, it symbolizes united. Because when you drink a beer, we have to share. So you'll find men sitting around drinking, sharing at the same time.
Calabash.
But with my culture, unfortunately, only men who drink that beer. Ladies are not allowed. But they cook the beer, we don't drink it. They can drink other beers, but not the one which you call Gold. It's an African beer, it's different from the other beers. You can see the stadium further, you see the city of Johannesburg, which proves that we are not yet in Soweto. Because if we are here complaining about this one, they can cause a lot of dust on the street. They cause dust in the community. Worst part, that dust can cause lung disease, so it's very bad for the people who live in the township. But I heard that the government, they are planning to remind again. They still believe we can find some remains of gold over there. Hopefully when they start thinking, they'll find something. Maybe that will boost our economy. But some people who live in Soweto, they feel like it was made on purpose to separate Johannesburg and Soweto. The reason they feel that way, as I said earlier, when they formed Soweto, it was a black township. Same thing in the city, you used to find only white people on that side. But that all changed in 1994. When Nelson Mandela became the president, that's when it changed in South Africa as a whole. I believe today in South Africa as a whole, there is no place for black people only, or maybe white people only, colored, Indians, Chinese. You can live wherever you want. It's up to you where you want to live. The same thing with Soweto. Yes, it used to be a non-white township before, but now we do have few white people who are living in Soweto. The one who are married to our brothers and sisters, they do come from Soweto. which makes me say so far, in South Africa, Soweto, it's one of the first diverse townships we have. If maybe you want to join us, feel free. You are also welcome to live in Soweto. But before you come to the township, be prepared to use our 11 official languages. In South Africa, we have 11 official languages, and people who live in Soweto, majority of them, they can speak our 11 official languages. Normally for me, I say they speak 12 languages. When I say they speak 12 languages, it's because I'm including a language called Tsotsitaal. Tsotsitaal, it's not official in South Africa, but we only use it in Soweto, whereby we mix all the languages we have. For example, when I say hola, I can't speak Spanish, but when we greet each other, we say hola. When you respond, you say each other. Then I say how's it? How's it means how I do. Then you simply say sharp sharp. Sharp sharp means good. When I do this sign, I'm not saying I'll call you. That means good. It's part of mixing the languages. We are now getting to Soweto. You can't see Johannesburg anymore, but you will only see the mind town.
There's no Bloemfontein.
I know the one from
Glasgow, yeah.
English League.
No, Scottish.
Scottish.
Yeah. Are you a Man United supporter or which is your English team?
Will you take a picture?
I remember. You know,
Are you winning?
we
Yeah.
play Greece.
Just a few seconds, please. You obviously know, yeah.
Record.
Yeah, just a few seconds.
Push
That's that one there, yeah.
the red. Okay.
That's great, thank you. Bye, thank you, as they say. Yeah.
So you speak some Afrikaans.
And then when he respond in like sharp sharp.
Σάψα.
Balita.
Μαλίτα.
You crack.
Balita ma.
Και εσύ, Σίμπο.
Sibo.
Ο Σίμπα, ποιος ήταν.
Sibo ήταν λάι.
Ο Σίμπα.
Ε?
Ο Σίμπα ήταν.
Sibo.
Εσύ είσαι Σίμπο.
Ήξερε πέρα να είναι τέτοιο.
Simba.
Simba was a lion.
Σίμπα.
You know.
Not Simba. Simba, that's a lion.
Simba.
Simba.
Okay.
But not in my language.
Yes, I know.
That's why he's
Sibo was
Σίμπα.
S-I-P-O.
S-I-P-H.
P-H-O. Sibo.
It's H, but no problem.
Okay.
Σίμπο.
Not with B, with P-H.
S-I-P-H-O. Like Nipo, N-I-P-H-O.
And your name?
Nipo.
Nipo. Without.
N-I-P-H-O.
Okay.
Νίπο.
Nipo Shipo. Okay, best friends.
Σίμπο.
Partners. So we are now in Soweto, but this part of Soweto, this is like the upper class of Soweto, the upmarket of Soweto. As we go in, you're gonna see the difference. There is a middle class of Soweto. There is also the lower class. When you talk about the lower class of Soweto, we mean the informal settlement, the squatter camp. In Brazil, they say favela. We also have favela in Soweto. Then the middle class, it's the old housing of Soweto, the one which was built by the government a long time ago.
These look like nice homes.
This is the upmarket of Soweto. If you can check the difference, on the left hand side and the housing on the right hand side, they are not the same. On the left and right hand side. This side it's more organized. It's the upper class of Soweto. But this side, the other side, it's the middle class of Soweto. But either you come from this side or you come from the other side or maybe from the lower class, on the street, we are all the same. We are all equal. For us, there's no difference. And lucky so far, when you go to school, we have to wear uniform. The private school, government school, everyone has to wear uniform. With the school uniform, we look the same, no difference. Even the people who come from the lower class, they feel comfortable to go to school. Is it the same thing in your countries? You have a school uniform?
Some places.
Some.
Mostly no.
So you can wear whatever you want. Lucky for them.
In Greece, we stopped to wear uniforms in public schools in 86, 85, 83.
Before we were born.
1983.
1983.
Before we were born.
You are so young.
I'm 20 something.
So,
My wife and I are both teachers.
your teachers?
Yeah.
Nice one.
In,
Keep it up, the spirit.
in primary school?
Primary school for me.
And I teach high school.
So we are teachers.
Yes.
Teacher.
Where is that? Where are you from?
Alaska.
Alaska.
Ah, okay. Very hot.
Alaska isn't that
Yeah,
So
that's
it's
the one.
summer for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is hotter than our summer.
Oh yeah?
This is hotter than your summer.
Yes.
We are good in South Africa, my guy. So the housing you see on the left hand side, we call them hostels. They were
Because-
used by the miners.
Can you get?
Mine workers, they were living there. But now it's no longer miners living on that space. It's the people who come from the village, from the rural areas.
How you call them?
Hostels.
Hostage.
Hostels.
Hostels. Hostels.
Ah, hostage. Okay.
You see this new housing now, they are moving them from the old one to live in the new housing. But the new housing, if you can notice, they are still empty. No one living there. Because in the new housing, they must pay. In the old one, they are not paying. So people, they live in those old ones, which are
Are these RDP houses? These ones, these RDP
but they are
houses.
different with the hostels. They are different. They don't have electricity. Some of them, they will connect electricity illegal
Yeah, to the poles.
from the street light, breaking the law.
Like Rio de Janeiro.
They do that in Brazil.
In
Yeah, they do that. They are breaking the law. But in South Africa, they say they are not breaking the law. They are meeting the government halfway. They are waiting for the government housing. They are the one who promised them the free housing. During the minor time, that place, it was called warm bed. When they say warm bed, it's because of the miners. Mine workers, they had to share a bed.
Yeah.
Meaning if you're doing
Share
that
bed.
night shift and a day shift, you'll be swapping. You out, someone is sleeping at your place. When you come back, you'll sleep on the same place.
okay.
So when you go to sleep, every time you go to sleep, you'll find your place warm.
Yes.
That's why it was called warm bed.
Warm bed. Okay.
But not anymore. They are not training anymore.
12 hours. You have 12 hours for sleeping.
You sleep from 6 to 6, then someone come after, sleep over there. So this is still the middle class of Soweto. The middle. Yeah, on your right hand side, if you look at that house over there, original housing of Soweto, they were like that one. That house, we call it a mesh box. Mesh box. It's a small farmhouse, 2-bedroom living room and a kitchen. With water and a toilet, they get it outside. Back then, you used to find a family of 8, a family of 10 living on a house like that one. But the
How
first
old is
house of Soweto, they were built in the early 40s. They are different with this one.
How many squares?
Square meters.
Square meters, yes.
How many square meters is your house?
30, 20,
to 40.
40.
It's 35 to 40.
Yeah,
Not the
35.
same.
And is it one bed?
No, it's 2-bedroom.
2 bedroom.
2-bedroom inside.
Some of them they have bathroom inside. Some of them they have bathroom outside.
Outside.
This one, it's got a bathroom outside.
Outside. Okay.
Before, when you say
But
before,
if I'm saying before, I mean during up at the time,
Oh.
they had no electricity at that time. Well, nowadays they do have electricity.
A lot of them didn't even have water, did they? No water.
The water is still outside. Most
Still.
of the housing, you have to get water outside. Except the new RDP housing, the new government housing, you can get water inside. The new housing. But with that one, you remember on that time, they were not owning those houses. Some people can afford to get housing in the city, but some of them, they prefer to live in the township. They grow up in the side. If you grow up in a township, it's not easy to move to Johannesburg. The lifestyle in the city and the lifestyle in the township, it's not the same. In the township, normally we live as a community. We are helping each other. But in the city, you will be on your own.
do you have schools
We have schools, about 360 schools in Soweto,
and high school?
including primary and high school. One university.
One university.
In Soweto, it's only one university. On the left-hand side, this is the hospital from the brown bricks going down. This is the whole of the hospital. You see the buildings far there? It's part of the hospital.
Big hospital.
The biggest hospital in the southern hemisphere. In Africa, it's the first one.
It's academic hospital.
In the world, it's the third one in the world. Academic hospital. Doctors from South Africa, from Africa, from American side, European side, worldwide, they come to train in that hospital. It's a teaching hospital. Not only used by South Africans, but people from all over, from the neighbor countries, they travel to use that hospital. But before it was the hospital, that used to be a market for the guy called the Parapana. He was from Wales. But he decided to donate the place to the military. Second World War, that was the hospital for the British. After the wars, government took over the place as the public hospital. Going down, it's still the whole of the hospital. Not far with the hospital, on that side, you'll find the minivan, the minibuses. People use the hospital, that's where they get their transport. Those minivans, they transport people to different places. Even if you go to our neighbor countries, you can get a transport on that side. But we don't call them minivan or minibus. Normally we call them taxi. When we say taxi, we mean this one. The one you call a taxi, we call it a cab. To use them, you must know a sign language. When you see people standing on the side of the road, pointing up like this, that's a sign of going to the city, Johannesburg. That's how you get a minivan. When they do like this, that's a local, meaning you're going this way. In Soweto, when I do like this, it means I'm going to Orlando East. But if I tell it like this is Orlando West. So this is in and this is W. Orlando East, Orlando West. We have a place called Orange Farm. When I go to Orange Farm, I do like this. Some other sign, they can be confusing for you. This one, it's a sign of the hospital. Only if you're standing on that side. You come and let's stand on the other side. In your position, you must pass money for people until it get up front. In my position, I have to count money for everyone. You sit at the back, you don't do anything. It's also part of the hospital.
Another hospital. Chris Honey.
The same.
The same.
Ah, the same.
Krisani, from that side actually.
Okay.
Krisani, Parabana, Academic Hospital. The end of Whitehall, that should be the end of the hospital. Are we ready to do bungee jumping? Are we ready for bungee? That's where we do bungee jumping.
What about you?
There's somebody doing it at the moment.
Well, you have to do it.
Okay.
No.
Okay, bungee jumping.
Are you sure you're going to do
I
that?
just ate.
She'll throw up right here.
You're scared of heights? Chicken.
Scared of falling. Heights are okay.
Chicken.
The bus driver must go first.
I'd like it to continue. Don't want it to end yet.
No, you have to do it. That will be a lifetime chance. In that way, you tell them you've done it. Experience. Parkour.
Have you done?
No. Is somebody going to go though?
No, I didn't listen. When they shut down the power station, people decided to stay off, shoot that place. Now that there's an emergency.
Slowly.
I mean, inside the tower, you can jump without using a rope.
Have you done that?
Ah, it's zero. So, and you,
Meters.
it's not dangerous.
No, it's not. They are the one who grab you. Then once you're up, they release you, so you can land with your bag.
You need a doctor's certificate.
Well, before you do it, you sign the papers.
Yeah, that means nothing in law.
So meaning you sign the papers, you are the one who decided to go and do it. They didn't push you. You go for it. That was your choice.
How much do they charge to bungee jump?
Normally I can say it's good if you come on a weekend. There's more people doing it on the weekend. During the week it's quite boring. No one.
Red,
1,500
500 red
every month.
every month for reading.
It's a rent to buy. After some years you own that.
How many meters? It's bigger. They are bigger.
No, they are small. They are small. They are only for the people who work under government.
Okay.
If you're not working under government, you can't live on this place. Favela. So you
Like favela, okay.
people who live in this place, they do recycling. You see them collecting plastic bottles, they collect metal. That's how they make a living. Some they are from the neighbor countries, Mozambique, Botswana, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, Swaziland. You can find them living in this place. But
And-
today we say it's all lower class, but the whole of Soweto, it used to be like this. The whole of Soweto. But they move people to housing. Other people come and live in this place. They also want to get housing from the government. If you are living on a tin house, when it's cold, it's freezing. When it's hot, it's boiling inside. Same when it's raining, it's a problem. Do you have tin housing like this in your side, in your countries?
Not like that.
Not in Europe.
Not like this. Is it against the law? Illegal?
No.
How about if you own the land? Can you build whatever you want?
Yes.
I know in some other places they get like permit.
Yeah, and in a lot of cities in the U.S. you permit. But where we live, there's no rules.
In Greece,
No,
you can't.
they aren't.
The tin
They
house.
have now. Now you know this year we had the problem with all the people that are coming from Pakistan, from
Syria.
Syria, and not only from Syria but all over. Yeah, and we didn't have this, but there were places like
Hot spots.
hot spots. So
They are
to
squatters.
yes to keep them, and then India
You can see,
also.
even if you visit Cape Town, you can find the tin house.
Yes, exactly out of airport. There is a place.
But for us, they are waiting for the government housing. Normally the government, our government, they build housing for the people.
Yes.
Like you see this side, the small house like that one.
Yeah,
So they will build a house for you, then they move you to that house. But even though some people they get housing like that one, but
yes.
they are still building shacks, the tin house. Because we are a big family of 8, people of 10, we can't fit in a small house like that. Some of the members they have to sleep on the tin house.
8 children?
8 children.
Yeah.
8 children.
8 children.
Well, I'm not that big family. How many of you?
Normal family, 8 children.
I think it's only 11 of us.
11.
Children.
But I moved out since I got this job. So
Yeah.
I get a new place to stay so they could get space. Normally what we do, we have like 4-room houses.
Yes.
And then they build outside room if they afford. If they don't afford, they'll build tin houses like that. So all the boys will sleep on the tin houses and then they can
How many of these children go to school?
Well, with the children, they can go to primary school, high
They
school.
can, but do they?
They do. They do.
school holidays.
Oh, right now it's
Oh,
school.
they were- yeah.
We are closed. But they do go to school.
In Soweto, in the other area. Soweto.
No, there's some schools around. Even here, there's a school somewhere.
Do most of them go to public schools or private schools?
In the township, go to public schools.
Public schools.
Public
Most of them. Even with our public schools in South Africa, you'll be surprised. They're supposed to go.
You pay to go or you pay the books?
You will pay to go. You can pay for the books. With the books, you can't be sure. This year they might deliver books. Next year they don't deliver books. You always pay.
No.
So education is still a challenge. Not only in South Africa, but I believe in Africa, it's still the biggest challenge. Not only in the primary and high school, but even in the university, it's still the biggest challenge. So far, I can say in Soweto, we are privileged comparing to other townships. A lot of schools around Soweto, they are for free. Around Soweto. So that is the side.
Yeah.
They want to change
This
this.
is a big house.
This church.
This part of Soweto is called Orlando. That's a church. That's a church. This is Orlando East.
What's
The
the
other side is Orlando West.
what's the religion?
Main religion is Christian.
Christian.
Catholic.
Orthodox.
Catholic.
Or Catholic.
Zion. Is Zion Christian?
Zion.
Zionist?
Your stairs.
Just church.
No, it's not.
It's from the northern province.
They call it the Zionist church, isn't it? Zionist. So Zion's Jewish.
We say ZCC.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Orlando.
Zion
Okay.
Christian Church. There is some other churches actually. Left hand side there is a church. From that church there is another
This is
one.
church. This.
That's a small one. There is
Nazarene.
another one.
We have a lot of Nazarene churches.
There is another one.
Why there are too many churches together?
Masarin stairs.
In South Africa, people they are religious.
Why too many churches? Why?
There are many. We are religious.
They are very
But together, why together? Or after 1 kilometer, the next one? Or
Just need to choose which side you want to be.
Yeah.
If you feel proud in this one, you go to the next one.
Gospel church.
There's a gospel church.
and you
After
sing
that, there's
during
There's different.
the
No, religion it's not really a problem for us.
Maybe of
You
course.
know, in my house, since I said we are like 8 children, you can do whatever you want to be inside that house. So if I decide like today I'm Zion, I can be. Someone right inside that Orlando Stadium, one of the oldest stadium in Soweto.
Is that Pirates' home ground?
Orlando Pirates Football Club, they play on that stadium. That's their home club.
The best team in Soweto.
The best team in South Africa. Where's the capacity? This one is 40,000.
Is that all?
But before it was the stadium, that used to be a dumping site for the community.
But what
Government decided to clean the place. They made it a playground for children.
if you're born in?
My parents, they are Kaiser Chiefs. And I'm Orlando Pirates.
Always the case. We find many
Just-
people inside the
this
house.
is for football,
Opposite, for football.
not for rugby.
Sometimes they play rugby, but not always. Most of the time it's football.
This is the first category of.
Soweto.
Huh?
In
First
Soweto, we
Yeah.
like soccer.
Yes.
Go to Johannesburg. Look at that Spanakam and look at the stadium. It look the same. There's no difference. Today we say to our lower class, but the whole of Soweto it used to be like this. There were people living on that space before, but they moved into housing. Some other people came and live on the same space. They also want to get housing from the government. You can open the window and get it. You're living there when it's cold, it's freezing. When it's hot, it's warm. And today it's boiling inside the chill house.
Can't stay inside.
You leave the windows open. Are we still good? Are we good?
Shasha.
You still remember your name?
Is Sipo.
Sipo.
Sipo. Without H. Without P.
I didn't tell you.
Baicha.
Flower.
Baita.
I said
Napa.
Mangoba.
Yeah, you gotta get that clip.
This is
Jumbo.
flower.
Not Jumbo.
You can say Palisa.
Jumbo.
Palisa.
Alicia?
Palisa.
Balisha is Magda.
Balisa. Tu balisa.
Bali.
Oh, is it Bali?
What?
Bali.
Pali?
Bali and
Bali.
the guy. Yeah.
Mangoba.
Manko.
Magoba and me.
Sipo.
Sipo me.
Sipo.
And our friend.
Nelson.
Nelson.
Easy.
Nelson.
Nelson Mandela. Yes. Okay.
Nelson.
Okay.
Balisa.
Palisa. Bali.
Okay.
Bali.
Not only on that, Desmond Tutu. Firstly, we will spend 10 minutes at the Hector Peterson Memorial. You'll be learning more about the student uprising. The high school students who were protesting against these Africans. They didn't want to be taught in Afrikaans. So good people, 10 at the memorial, 5 at the market. Our time is 15 minutes. 10 and 5. No African time. If you are late, you're gonna sing and dance for us.
Alright, you can stop here for now. Hello everybody once again, my name is Sibu Siso. I work here as a volunteer site guide. I'm going to give you information about the June 16 uprising. Not quickly, please. Oh, not quickly, alright, thank you. So, the Hector Peterson Memorial was built in 1992. So this is where they tell the story of the June 16 uprising. So we commemorate the day June 16, we commemorate the students of 1976 in this memorial, but each and every year in South Africa on the 16th of June, it is now a public holiday known as Youth Day. So what happened that day? On the 16th June 1976, there was a student protest in Soweto. So this protest was against Afrikaans as a language of instruction. The government of South Africa wanted to enforce Afrikaans on black schools beginning in Soweto. So they were now to study mathematics, geography, economics in Afrikaans. These were important subjects because on the other hand, they continued to study woodwork for boys and needlework for girls in the English language. So that's why the students were saying, no, we don't want to study in Afrikaans. In fact, Afrikaans is the oppressor's language, or the language of the oppressor. At that time, the black people of South Africa were oppressed by the Afrikaans government, if you can say. So that time, the government had given those kids what is called Bantu education. Bantu education is a flawed education system to keep black people as laborers and nothing more. So that's why these kids were marching against Afrikaans. So about 15,000 students were protesting, carrying placards and banners with written slogans such as Abolish Afrikaans. They were singing songs as well. Inkosi Sigelela Africa was one of the songs that they were singing. It means God bless Africa. We sing the same song as part of the national anthem today in the country. About 300 policemen were sent to Soweto to come and stop the kids. So some of the policemen, they went about 400 meters away from here. So that's where they approached a crowd of about 5,000 students. Those kids are the ones who came from deep Soweto, about 5 kilometers away from here. They came from a school called Naledi High School and the Morris Isaacson High School as well. So the police told them, go back to your schools, this is an illegal gathering. But they were telling them in Afrikaans. So the kids refused to disperse. They said, no, we are not going anywhere because they don't take us seriously. That's when now tear gas canisters were fired by the policemen. But because the wind was blowing towards the police, the smoke of the tear gas affected the police more than the kids. So that's when the police now decided to fire tear gas, to release dogs now to attack. So some of the kids, when they saw the dogs attacking, they picked up stones and they stoned the dog. But the police dog died. That's when a warning shot was fired. This warning shot caused even more chaos. The other policemen were now shooting at the kids. The young boy, Hector Peterson, was also shot. He was one of the first kids to die that day. So in that confrontation there, he was the only child to die. So you see Hector Peterson in that photograph there. There is the boy who is being carried. So he was going to turn 13 in August of that year. The other guy that you see, the one holding Hector, his name is Mboyi Samakubo. He since disappeared that time. Even to this day, he is still missing. His name is Mboyi Samakubo. So why was he running away? The police had declared him the #1 suspect in Soweto because this particular photograph was published at front page of the World newspaper. So the police now gave chase. He left South Africa, he went to Botswana. While he was in Botswana, he was promised a scholarship to study further in Nigeria. But Mboyisa disappeared somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria. Even to this day, we don't know what happened to him. The other person that you see there is Antoinette Sithole. Antoinette, she's Hector Peterson's sister. She's still alive. She's now 58 years old. She used to work here in the museum until she resigned in 2014 December. And then also the photographs became very popular. They were seen internationally. Countries now were beginning to want to sanction South Africa or not even trade with South Africa anymore. So the man who took this photo, he was never able to continue to work as a photojournalist after this because the police were also harassing him. So he left Soweto, he went to live in another province called Mpumalanga. That's where he still lives to this day. He is now in his late 80s. And then also, in the memorial here, when you look around, you'll realize there are symbols. Like for example, you see the trees over there. These are known as the African wild olive trees. An olive branch is a symbol of peace. That's why Nelson Mandela is the one who suggested that the trees be planted here. He said, let's have peace, let's move forward, but let's not forget to tell the story of the June 16 uprising. We have the walls over there. They are known as the wall of emptiness or the wall of void. The empty spaces in between, these will symbolize the missing students and the untold stories. Like who shot Hector Peterson? How many people died? There are still many kids missing, but were declared unaccounted for. The wall also symbolizes the unity of the kids as they were marching together. And then also, good people, on my right here, you see the line of grass. This is known as the firing line, or the line of fire. It was put here to connect the entrance of the museum to the area where Hector was shot. So the line of grass and the trees on the other side of the road, they form a straight line. You follow the trees, all the fountain on my left there, the fountain, the water symbolizes the tears of the parents who lost their children and the amount of blood shed as well. There are stones inside the water. Those stones will symbolize the only weapon that the children had to fight for themselves. And then also in the end of the memorial there, on the other end, you see the boulder. This is known as the pledge stone. The government of South Africa, they made a promise to the people of South Africa. They said, never ever again shall it be that June 16 repeat itself. Today, people in South Africa must be given a chance to study in a language that they are comfortable with, a language that they understand. So there's 11 official languages altogether, and English is the medium of instruction. And surrounding that stone are 4 brown plaques. On those plaques, they wrote the same thing, the same information, but in 4 different languages. So the stone is surrounded by those plaques. There are four of those plaques. Each plaque is a different language. So they use Zulu, Soweto, English, and Afrikaans. So those are some of the most spoken languages in South Africa. They are the same languages that you find in our national anthem as well. So they did that as a sign to show diversity in South Africa. And then also people, the first victim that day was not Hector Peterson, but it was another boy by the name of Hastings Ndlovu. Hastings was 15 years old, but no pictures were taken. He was the first victim to be admitted at Baragwanath Hospital with a bullet wound in the head, but he died on arrival. So Hector becomes the symbol of the uprising because of the very famous photograph that you see there. On that day, they were not the only victims to die. On that day, according to estimation, over 30 students lost their lives, and in 2 years, from 1976 until 1978, over 600 students lost their lives because of the marches. So these are victims from all over South Africa as the marches spread to other parts of the country as well. So we usually say that when Soweto sneezes, the whole country catches a flu. It becomes a national matter, it becomes everybody's problem. And then also, good people, the last thing I wanted to say is that the surname, Peterson, it is not their original surname. But the grandfather of Hector, just like many other African people who admired the status or the class which was given to colored people. So if you're colored, you're not black, not white either. So those people were given second-class citizenship in South Africa. So it led to them being paid better at work, being given better jobs and such. So that's what led to the grandfather of Hector to disguise the surname into Afrikaans. Pitso is the original surname. He changed it to Peterson. P-I-E-T-E-R-S-O-N. So that's why they spelled it that way in that museum there. They did that intentionally also to include the Pitso surname, which is P-I.
They do that. Probably most of it, I don't know, joking, might be made in China. How's it going? Sorry, I was busy looking here. Because Baya Yaba, okay, sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
Any question?
So we met somebody, and somebody from South Africa, from near Johannesburg, and he didn't know what, we asked him what holiday June 16th was, because that's the day we came in, and he didn't know.
How old is it?
33.
He was obviously white, yeah?
Yeah,
White,
he is Afrikaans.
But would that be typical for him to not be aware? I mean, that seems crazy.
Yeah, that's, I can say crazy.
Okay, all right.
Very crazy. Because even, I think even the kids, they know the holiday, or the 16th of June.
Yeah.
We know that holiday. Or maybe it's in the township, I'm not sure in the city. But
Did he grow up?
I thought
He grew up in Nelspruit, is where he grew up,
so he didn't know.
and he didn't know.
Or maybe he didn't catch our question right or something, but yeah, did.
Well, we didn't say the date.
I'm surprised
We just
with the holidays, even if you are not in politics,
Yeah,
in the history of the country,
yeah,
but we do that even in primary school.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like in grade 3, grade 4, we do that history.
Okay.
So we know about those stuff as a kid.
Yeah.
You won't know everything, but you know about Hector Peterson, for sure. This corner was the gathering point for the students. The shooting happened in this corner. If you look at the tree over there, that's where Hector Peterson was shot, on that side. After he was shot there, everyone was picked up by Mbuiso Makobo. They went to the clinic. By the time they got to the clinic, it was too late. He was already dead by that time. When Mbuiso and Hector Peterson, they were not a relative, not even friends. He was just helping a little boy as a brother from another mother.
Not quick.
So, even though we don't share the same blood, but we still believe we are brothers and sisters. He went to Botswana. In Botswana, he got a scholarship in Nigeria. That was his last letter coming from Nigeria. Since then, we are not sure what happened to him. Even today, we are still wondering what happened to Mbuiso.
The guy who killed
Hector Peterson
Yeah.
on a picture. We have now joined the Vilakazi Street. This is the street of Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. I call it the street of two Nobel Peace Prize winners because of Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu. Firstly, we start with the house of Nelson Mandela, which is now the museum. But with our time, we are not going inside the house. It will be pictures outside the house.
Okay.
If maybe you like to visit the house inside, you have an option to stay for 1 hour and catch the next bus. So if you don't want to stay for 1 hour, only 5 minutes outside the house. Where you see the delta, that's the
So I can do the pigs. It sounds like this.
But
As you can see now, this place it became a touristic. It's no longer like it was before.
Yeah.
But right now it's not busy.
Oh, this isn't busy.
This is not busy. It's get busy at night. People they come for nightlife. With the nightlife, it's crazy. That's why Desmond wanted to move to Cape Town.
Okay. Now?
Osaka. Thank you. This is an African restaurant. You'll get anything which is African. Your chicken feet, your cow's head.
Yeah, if you wanna try chicken feet, you can get some. Not far with the restaurant, you see the grey wall with the trees?
Yeah.
Behind the trees, it's a house of Desmond Tutu over there. But it's still a family house. They are still living in that house. The family of Tutu, they still use the house. Desmond Tutu only comes to visit and go back to Cape Town. I'm sure you understand why I moved to Cape Town. Since this place it became a tourist.
Excuse me, can you take
Okay.
take
Sing the car at the back.
Okay.
What shall I tell this one?
Okay, go.
Okay.
Go.
Nightlife they do a 6 to 6, from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. If you can't beat them, they say
Nice
it's random.
picture then. Hot dog. Instead. See?
Big huluk. Not usual.
Not usual.
Big. You're in Africa.
Want some chicken feet? Chicken feet?
I'd like a smiley.
There is
Oh,
some
smiley.
smiley. I can't find it.
Can't find a smiley here?
Not at this time.
Come on.
You need to
Not
go
at this
deeper.
time.
For smile, you need to go deeper. So what is
The sheep's head? Sheep's head?
Oh.
Smiley. So have you tried it?
No.
Not yet.
So, Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu was neighbors.
Yeah, they were living on the same street.
In what's the difference of their age?
Well, Desmond Tutu, he came to live in the street 1975.
75.
1975. By
What's
that
the
time,
difference of the
by that time, Mr. Mandela was already in prison.
So Mandela was older.
He was older than
Yes.
Desmond.
How many years?
Desmond Tutu right now is 86.
He's
Nelson Mandela
in alive. This one.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Still alive.
He lives in Cape Town.
Nelson Mandela will be like 98 this year.
He died 3 years ago?
About 20 years.
Yeah, he died
older.
3 years ago. But he was 95.
95.
by that time.
Yeah.
Strong DNA.
He was old.
Goodness
All
DNA.
Tutu in independent.
Independent. Τότε είναι από 14.
So the different they like 10 years. Close to 10 years.
It was he's
Was held in
56
Nelson
years
Mandela.
old now. So when he was arrested, he was young, one of the youngest. And I think that he was released of the last parties of the Magda. I think
The last.
the last party of releasing of political
prisoners.
We were there 2 weeks ago.
Started in Copenhagen.
Yeah, we were.
You were there. You were in Cape Town.
Yeah, we were in Cape Town.
For how long? How many days did you stay there?
12 days in Cape Town.
Oh, nice.
how long days you will stay here?
Just 2 days in Joburg.
Did you go to safari? You went safari?
Yeah,
You went safari.
it was very good. Yeah,
In which?
right outside of Kruger.
Kruger.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay in Kruger?
No, we already did Kruger.
Are you did Kruger?
Yeah, we spent 1 week.
One
I
week.
need in Kruger, yes. You need there 1 week.
What?
You need there some days in Kruger.
We actually we drove into Kruger 1 day. We drove for 12 hours going to Kruger. The rest of the time we stayed on a game reserve outside of Kruger. And saw
Tons of animals.
saw lots of animals in Cold Spring. We saw a leopard that we got to just watch it slowly move. It was going slow, so we got to watch it for about 3 to 5 minutes. Well, that's a long time for a leopard. Normally you see a leopard and it's gone. You're like, was that a leopard?
This year.
Yeah. Heather saw one much closer, but
Just
only
for-
for a split second. Near Hot Spring.
The other days you were outside of Kruger.
Yes.
Why you don't go inside?
Well, where we stayed was outside of Kruger.
Yes, you say.
Yeah, so we stayed at a lodge. Auntie Zebras came in.
During night you
tried kudu?
Yeah, we did try to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we had kudu built on.
during night you don't walk away, or you can like walk outside the outside the
Lounge.
lounge.
In Kruger, you can't walk.
Right. Unless you're on a walking. I don't know if you'd want to.
Next time.
Yeah,
we
you
come
can.
here.
If you want to.
So all these people that are coming, Africans who comes from the villages and come here
To live in the
to
south.
live.
Not only people from outside South Africa, but we also have people from South Africa, those who come from the village,
Yes.
from the rural areas, they will come and live in the space. But a big number, well, it's the people from the neighbor countries, Mozambique, Botswana, Lesotho, Zimbabwe, South Africa.
They're coming here to find a job,
To find a job, they come for their kids, educate.
So the movie's TSOTSI?
That's the one.
Okay.
So when they formed Soweto 1904, it was like this. It's still the same. Father, that's still the whole of Soweto, but the better side.
yeah.
You've seen some other tin houses left on satellite TV. Some they drive BMW. They are living on tin houses.
Really?
Well, status symbol. People see you driving, they don't see where you stay. On the street, you get respect. It happened. As I said, much rich people are living in tin houses. They are not original from Johannesburg. So in Johannesburg, it's temporary. They're just living here. Holiday time, they go back to their families.
No, thanks.
I think they are cooking us Swahili somewhere. They are cooking some. On the year 1955, the different political parties, they came in this suburb to adopt our constitution, to adopt a document they called the Freedom Charter. Even though that document it was adopted in 1955, in South Africa, it's only being passed in 1986 as our constitution. But I can say, even today, it's still a wish list in South Africa. The reason I'm saying it's still a wish list, a lot of stuff which are written down there, they are not happening in South Africa. Right inside far there, you can see the 10 pillars. Those 10 pillars, they have the 10 laws which are written on a Freedom Charter document. If I can count all those pillars, it's people shall govern, equal rights for all, education, housing, sharing the country's wealth, sharing the land, all equal before the law, human rights, work and security. The last one over there, there shall be peace and friendship on our country. On the last pillar, you can see them doing a handshake as part of making peace. But that document, it's still a wish list, even today. Pillar number 8, it speaks about education. They say education shall be free for everyone, compulsory. But as I said, education is free in some other places, but in some other places we are still paying for education. All equal for the law, we not equal money choice. Sharing the country's wealth, that's a bigger challenge. 2,886 delegates, including the guy by the name of Walter Sisulu. When we talk about Walter Sisulu, that's the guy who was the mentor of Nelson Mandela, the one who introduced Nelson Mandela into politics. We call this place a Freedom Square, or you can say Walter Sisulu Square. Education is free, no sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you don't pay at all.
You don't pay at all. We pay taxes to pay for it.
You pay taxes a lot, especially now in Greece. Taxes are very high.
Taxes very high.
Up to